Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the What She Podcast, episode 82 to be. In fact, it is so special because I'm going to be running it solo. Yep, that's right. I'm going to be taking the insurmountable task upon my shoulders of running this podcast on my own today. But hello, everyone, and welcome to, as I said before, episode 82 of the What She Podcast, where I will be talking and expressing my feelings, thoughts, and emotions and beyond about Critical Role Campaign 3 episode 28. We finally had the race. Now, all of you that have been keeping up with the podcast and stuff know that this Death Wish race was definitely what I was most excited about coming into Bosteros. As soon as we heard about it from Ashton, back when they first arrived in the city, like they weren't even in the city yet. They were just merely walking up, and Ashton was like offhanded comments about Death Wish, and I was like, "Oh, Death Wish, what the hell is this?" I hear death. If I hear death, my angst radar automatically starts flashing, and it's like give. It's like my angst detector. So as soon as I heard Death Wish, I was like, I need to see this. I need to have it, and we got it. It was very fun. It was basically just a really long combat / like chase scene, I guess. I don't know. It didn't really feel like a race. You know what I mean? It definitely more so felt like a combat with changing terrain and stuff like that. Still really fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed every second of it. I was kind of looking at the race through the lens of like pod racing. That's pretty much what I did. I was like, this is, and that's kind of how, you know, I heard a few of them drop a line. Now, this is pod racing and stuff like that, especially with all the shenanigans they were getting up to. Also very reminiscent of Mario Kart and all that shenanigans with the spiritual turtles, the banana peel, just so much chaos packed into this simple little race. But we can start at the beginning with the names of this. Have you seen Reddit's speed calculations? I have not. I have not taken the chance to look at some of the Reddit stuff about the episode. But going back to the beginning, we got the names of their crawlers. We had the Red Moon, and then the Buck Fucket. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Did I remember correctly? The Buck Fucket. Those crawlers can only go 20 miles per hour. Wait, that's so slow. Wait a minute. Is that accurate? 20 miles per hour? Wow, this race just got a whole lot less deadly. I guess the only deadly thing about it is the actual drivers, because they have the ability to, you know, cast spells and shoot their gats at their adversaries. That's funny though, that they can only go 20 miles per hour. I mean, maybe they actually go faster, but in terms of like, you know, like D&D, kind of hard to make things go super fast, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I am not smart when it comes to math and all that stuff, so I wouldn't know. But that's funny. That is funny. It makes now going through the race in my head, and because I was imagining it going like super fast, like pod racing. That's basically how I was imagining it. But now it's more like little go-karts. It was a go-kart race. That's basically what it was, a little go-kart race, or like bumper cars. They were playing bumper cars, something like that. But still, really great. Leave it to Reddit to ruin everyone's imagination. Exactly. My headcanon, they're going fast. My headcanon, they are speeding through that shit. But who knows? Who knows what it actually is? But yeah, so we had the two names, the Red Moons, and then the Buck Fucket, and then they had the brilliant idea of having FCG be the wheel. Totally nothing gonna go wrong with that. I love the conflict that Sam had though, because Sam is usually an advocate for chaos. They are an agent of chaos. They usually are always 100% down for shenanigans and stuff. But for some reason, he was really hung up on it this time. I don't know what was going on. I fully supported it. I totally understand Sam's argument for maybe not wanting to do it. But it's hilarious. This is probably the only chance you are ever going to have to do it. So why not? Why not? You're not gonna die. Like don't even worry about dying. But it did pose some interesting complications down the line, as he wasn't able to cast, spells that used hand shine and such. And it worked. Yes, exactly. It worked, and it ended up working out pretty well. Surprisingly so. But it was great. It was really great. Just pop out here. What else? Yes, and then the mistake of giving the Lana the temp HP. This was a bit down the line, but it was great. I loved their idea of having FCG be the wheel. It just fits perfectly with the chaos and the brand of the Bell's Hells. But one of the other interesting things before the race, Imogen recognized Otohan from the dream, because previously we had Laudna who didn't recognize her, but like meta knowledge, like Marisha and Laura and everyone else like knew who it was, but Laudna failed the check to see who it was. But at this race, 100% Imogen recognized Otohan. And not only that, but they also named their crawler the Red Moon. That's definitely not going to, be cause for alarm or anything. That's not obvious. It's not obvious. Who knows? And maybe Otohan doesn't even notice or recognize Imogen, There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot of layers. We just gotta hold out hope that nothing bad's gonna happen. But also, angst. I wouldn't be opposed to something bad happening. Feel about that. But no, it was great. I loved the build up, the deep planning that was going into the race. Like who's going with who, what tactics are we going to use, who's going to be sitting on the sidelines and stuff. It was fun to see them formulate a plan, because as we all know, plans in D&D never go the way we want. It's always going to just come down to improving and coming up with a solution on the spot in the heat of the moment, and just hoping it works out, hoping the dice rolls are in your favor. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen, and you just got to keep going. You just got to keep improvising. You got to keep building up. As the ladder is burning below you, you just keep climbing. You keep climbing as that ladder is burning. You just got to keep going. It's great. There are also theories that Orm recognized Otohan as well from the assassins. Oh, that is intriguing. That is interesting. I guess it would make sense, but do we have like confirmation that they are the assassins, or are they just other Ruidusborn? I think it's very possible that they are the assassins. We don't really have any other NPC leads in terms of like suspects, I guess. So it makes sense to assume that, or to theorize that Otohan is one of these assassins and stuff. But where are the other ones? Are they all the Paragon's Call? Are the assassins just the Paragon's Call? Or is Otohan a part of something greater that we have no idea about? I'm leaning more towards that, because Otohan was a war hero, if you will, during the Apex War. So it's possible that she has more connections with, more powerful figures and stuff like that. Maybe she's involved in different inner circles. Who knows? Laura and Taliesin piling on Liam as they planned was cute. Yeah, that was great. I would not want to do highway speed standing in the back of a pickup. True. That is very true. But then we get into the race. And chaos ensues already. As I said before, I loved this is pod racing lines. I loved the fact that FCG used the Spirit Guardians to be the turtle shells. I thought that was absolutely perfect. Bunch of just little Easter eggs in reference to Star Wars, into Mario Kart. Hilarious. I'm here for it. Always here for it. Ride or die. It was great. I'm just looking at my notes here. Guardian Turtle. Oh yeah, as the wheel. Oh yes. And then Matthew Mercer. I was expecting death, right? Death wish. Someone's gonna die. But why did it have to be the old lady? The old lady was just trying to cross the street. She had her groceries. She was chilling. I guess we technically have no confirmation if she died or not, because we don't know where she went. But I don't know. If those things are going fast, if those things are going real fast, I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes in that old lady's survival. I really don't. Oh, God. But then also, if they are only going 20 miles per hour, maybe she's fine. You know, Matt hates old people. Confirmed. Matthew Mercer despises old people. He had one die in Death Wish. 100%. The Death Knell was really close to the mountain race and the Speed Racer movie. Wow, it's the Speed Racer movie. It's been a while since I've thought about that. But it was really cool. As I said before, the race more so felt like combat because there was a lot of spell slinging, there was a lot of shooting, there's a lot of destruction, blowing up stuff. You know, Fern on the sidelines trying to be a flying squirrel, but then getting shot out of it and trying to do shenanigans. Chetney going full werewolf form and tearing shit up, going invisible. Them eventually commandeering a third crawler. They got a third one, which means at the end of the race they got first, second, and third because they eventually did away with all of their opposition. This went really well. This race actually went the best possible way. This was the best timeline for the Bell's Hells for this race to go. And Ashton got to, you know, live their dream of riding in one of these races and placing in a top placing. It went really well. It actually went so well. There were a few close calls. You know, some of them were getting low, dropping low, taking some hits, but for the most part, they were able to maintain themselves pretty darn well, I would say. I was honestly surprised. I was expecting at least one of them, like one of their crawlers, to make it. But I had the idea that one of them was probably going to break down, or someone was going to fall unconscious and they would have to stop, and then the other ones would keep going. But I didn't expect it to go this well. I was mentally prepared for one of them to not succeed. And I was hoping that if that was the case, Ashton would be the one that continued on and was able to complete the race, since this was Ashton's thing. He really wanted to do this, so give him the glory of finishing the race, finishing in first even. I was scared for Laudna as well. Laudna was the one who dropped dangerously close to, you know, death and stuff, but was able to be brought back up to like a safety health threshold. I don't think anyone went unconscious. But if they did, you know, it was maintained, it was managed, which is also funny because FCG is the only cleric, right? And they made FCG the wheel. So if it came down to supporting stuff, and Ashton didn't even finish. Oh, that's right. Ashton was with Imogen, right? And theirs was the one. Yes, they crashed at the end. That's right. That is right. Very unfortunate for Ashton, but also went unconscious once. That's right. But Laudna was brought back up. That is right. Ashton and Imogen's crawler did crash at the end. But I feel like also that's pretty satisfying for Ashton, you know? I feel like Ashton was either going to be satisfied if they finished like first or like second or something, or if they crashed in a blaze of glory but survived. Just the thrill and the adrenaline rush of that would probably have been enough for Ashton as well. Surprised the Psychic Gang didn't make an appearance. Wonder why they made the Bell's Hells wear the colors. True. Don't know. Good thing Matt forgot the bomb was on the red moon when it crashed. Otherwise, the episode might have ended a lot sadder. That's right. They never ended up using that bomb. I was definitely expecting them to try to either, I don't know, throw it at another crawler, or someone to jump on, plant it, and then like jump off or something, and then remotely detonate it. But yes, very, very lucky that it did not explode when their crawler crashed. Either Matt was being merciful and didn't want it to explode, or they just forgot. They just forgot it was there, and, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you forget you have an atom bomb in your backpack. It happens. People, you know, happens all the time, every day. But it was exciting. I was wondering what Matt would have done in the case that all of the other crawlers were destroyed and it was just the party left standing, because then it's like, oh, they won, like now they're just playing for bragging rights, like who among them is going to finish first. I wonder if Matt planned for that to be possible, because then there was the encounter in the caves with those creatures that they did battle with briefly. And I was wondering, I wonder if he did this because the opposition is gone and he still wanted to have a challenge for them or something. Which would have been cool. I think All Minds Burn might have been the rock trap near the end. Oh, could have been. Could have been. But still, it was really cool that they had. First, they had to deal with, you know, the other racers, the other opposition and stuff. They dealt with them, and then boom, these massive sand dweller creatures come out of nowhere and start tearing shit up. But yes, Orem went crazy. Orem went sicko mode. I think did Orem, how many natural 20s did Orem get? Like 2 or 3? He got a lot. He got a lot. Orem, I feel like Liam just gets so many natural 20s when it matters. Liam really knows how to come in and clutch with those natural 20s. Saying how many he actually gets. But it was great. It was great. Eventually they were able to destroy these sand dwelling creatures. I already forgot their names, but they sounded cool. And then they carried on. But unfortunately, as was stated previously, Ashton and Imogen's crawler crashed towards the end of the race and they were unable to finish. But the other members of the party did in fact cross that finish line and hopefully earned the respect of Otohan and all those baddies. But that was that pretty much. The race basically took up the entire episode. It was very fun. Again, I was looking at it through the lens of it being pod racing, so that's how my mental picture was developing as the scene was being described and narrated and stuff. I was thinking of like the sand dunes of Tatooine and the Phantom Menace Star Wars movie and all that stuff. So it was really fun. It was really fun to imagine. It was really fun to watch play out. So many funny moments. It was great. Absolutely loved it. It'd be interesting. Now I kind of want to do like a campaign. What if we do a campaign just based around a Death Wish circuit and stuff? You know, you're a group of upstart, you know, crawler gang members, and you're trying to make a name for yourselves. And you got to go through this whole, you know, circuit and stuff to climb the ranks. Excuse me, climb the ranks. The Death Wish hierarchy and stuff. It'd be cool. It'd be interesting. I've always wanted to do something like that. But I think the more exciting part of this episode came at the very end. And I'm sure you all are aware of what I am talking about. We finally had Fern and Birdie reunite. At long last, Fern got to see her mother again. They met up at Imahara Joe's. Ashton and FCG first greeting them first. Then Fern coming in slowly after. And the first shocker, I think, that we had for this one was the fact that the time difference. The time difference between Fern's idea and her mother's idea of how long they've like been apart, you know. Ashley was she was. Give me 1 second. Alana's message. Give me 1 moment. Alana might be joining us in a second here. But anyways, yes. But I guess before that, we should talk about what happened the night before, because I think it warrants a conversation. Because Chetney had a conversation with Dusk the night before. Chetney was like on point with Dusk's betrayal. And at first I was like, wait, how did Chetney know this? Was Chetney like getting whispers? Was Chetney like secretly rolling like insight checks and Matt was like giving him or something? But no, it turns out it was just Travis putting some pieces together and coming to the conclusion on his own, which is really cool. But I love like the dramatic irony of both those scenes, because Travis doesn't know that Dusk is evil, but Chetney was kind of getting that. And then Chetney did the insight check and then was whispered to by Dusk, so he might have gotten something. But then Fern and Dusk had a conversation right after that, expressing like how Fern like cares about Dusk in a way, like it's kind of like they're sisters, and Fern is like living vicariously through Dusk in the relationship that Dusk had with Fern's parents and stuff. So it was, again, it goes back to that dramatic irony where we know that Dusk is evil, and Ashley didn't. Even after the betrayal was revealed, Ashley was like, "I never questioned you for a second." Like, it came out of total left field. Travis taking a guess and hitting it on the mark was honestly incredible. It was, and I was like, it was so on the nose that I was like, he had to have been rolling secret inside checks this whole time or something, because it was too perfect, and he played it so well too, like so slyly. It's so slick, so it's like, I don't know, it was crazy. It was awesome because, again, we as the audience know that Travis is right. That's crazy. It's insane. Oath of Betrayal Paladin. Oh, is that what we're thinking? Dusk is? Could be. Um, so I really liked that we had those two conversations because it definitely heavily foreshadowed the next morning, like what was to come. Heavily foreshadowed it. And I think we all knew it was going to be coming because tomorrow was when they were going to be meeting with Birdie anyways. So we already knew the conflict was going to come to a head. Like, the tension was going to build, and Dusk was going to reveal themselves to be, evil and want to kill or capture Birdie and Ollie. So we knew it was coming, and the conversation that happened the night before only set up even more emotional weight to what was going to happen. So I really liked that. Erica nailing the description and Sam's confusion was priceless. It was. I actually have to go back. I want to go back and watch all of the reactions again because I was just so enthralled by Erica's descriptions of her changeling form shifting and like the tattoos and stuff. I was just honed in on that I wasn't even paying attention to anyone else. I was partly paying attention to Fern because it was directly affecting her as well. But I was mostly focusing on Erica because it was really well narrated. But yes, going back to Fern and Birdie meeting first, and the idea that Fern thought that they had only been away for, or that they had been away for 90 years. But from Birdie's perspective, it was only like 6 years. That is a massive difference. And I love how that played out too, because they were like, oh my gosh, it's been so long. It's been what, 90 years? And like they said their times like at the same time, like together. There was Fern being like 90 years, and then Matt was also like 6 years. So I was like, wait, what? Huh? Like, what? What's happening here? What's going on? So that was like the first like big shock reveal. It's like, wait, hold on a second. So which story is correct? Are they both true? Like, has it like actually only been like 6 years in I guess real time, and then like Feywild time has it been 90 years? Like, time gets so weird between material plane and the Feywild. Or was Fern in some other, dimension or something? It could be modified memory. Yeah, there could be something like that going on here. But modified memory on who? On Birdie and Ollie, or on Fern? I think they were letting the cinematic scene play out. Yes. Yeah, they were. And you could see it. You could see it building too, because when... Oh gosh, like the tension was just so good, because then Fern was like, oh, like I came here with Dusk. Like, you remember Dusk, right? And then Fern, modify memory on Fern. Yeah, it could be. Fern was like, oh, you remember Dusk, right? You guys traveled together. And then Birdie was like, I don't think I've ever met a Dusk. And it's like, oh shit. Oh god. It's crazy. Also, 6 years ago is when the attack on Zephyra occurred. Oh my, it's all lining up. Everything's connected. Everything is connected. I don't know if any of you have seen the horror movie The Visit, but I was getting big vibes from there. We're like in The Visit. Spoilers for The Visit. The kids are like on call with their mom on video call, and they're like, oh, hey, you know, we're here with our grandparents. Here they are. And they're showing them on the camera. And then the mom is like, kids, those aren't your grandparents. Who the fuck are those people? And that's kind of how it was in this scene, where it's like, I don't know who the person is. All right, 1 second. I think we have
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Let me swap scenes real quick.
I'm here.
Let's go.
Oh, I can't see you. Oh no.
Oh, I need to do a thing. I need to turn.
All right.
this off
Hello, everyone.
and go back here. Nope,
Ooh.
that didn't work.
Oh, oh.
We're professionals here. But
Yeah, 100%.
we just started talking about the whole Fern, Dusk, Ollie, or Birdie scene.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and how that was super tense.
Very, very tense. Hey, everyone. Sorry, we're so professional. I stayed up very late rewatching the episode multiple times, and that is why I'm very late.
I will just grab a new capture.
Oh, interesting.
Going to be huge though. Oh god, I'm huge.
But yeah, no, that's huge. Oh wow, you are huge. Cool.
Alright. Right here. Perfect. Alright. We're back.
Amazing. Smashing it.
Boom! And just like that, a well-oiled machine.
This is the level of professionalism you can expect from the What She
here,
podcast.
100%. It's
oh goodness.
It's been a time. Oh, there we go.
I still can't see you. I'm just gonna say.
That's alright. Stream can see me.
That's okay.
But anyways, yeah. So we were just talking about. I guess we can rewind a little bit because you probably want to.
Just this once.
Oh yeah. You probably want to put in your 2 cents about it. The whole 90 years versus 6 years.
Right.
Shenanigans.
What do you think?
What the hell is up with that? So
what's your rating
I
theory?
don't really know. My first thought was like just time is so fucked between like the material plane and the Feywild that it could have just been that. Where for Birdie and Ollie it really was just 6 years, but in the Feywild it was like 90. I've seen some theories of people saying that Fern was memory modified, fucked. So
what? Suggesting that it was 6 years, but that she had her memory mixed to think that she had an abandoned childhood or something, like her parents.
I don't know. Yeah, like what would be the purpose of modifying her memory?
I feel like because Birdie was saying like you've grown so much and like, you know, kind of treating her as if she were still a child a little bit. I think it has been 90 years. I think it might have just been 90 years. I think I would love for it to have only been 6 and it was a mistake and an accident that's caused them to be away from Fern. Because it's really sad. God damn, Ashley is so good. Like I think there was like one line she said last. I was just like, my eyes are wet. It's just like, what the fuck? This is really sad. But I think it's gonna be that just they lost track of time essentially, and being like either a long-lived creature they just didn't notice. For whatever reason, they're here on the material plane and it's not. You know, they're trapped. They can't go back. They're building something. We can assume. So, yeah, I think potentially it's just been, you know, no, they've been gone a while. They just haven't picked up on it. Which
we also have to consider. We also have to consider, as a few people have already stated, 6 years ago was when the attack on Zephyra happened. So. Is that connected somehow, or is it just a coincidence? Is it a coinkydink?
Yeah, because I guess we haven't really explored the possibility of like I think we've been very focused on those attacks being Ruidus, like related, just because of the twins and all that sort of stuff. But could be Feywild bullshit as well. Could be something related to that. I mean, that
Okay, here's a fucking tinfoil theory, right?
Go for it.
Birdie and Ollie left home to save the world, right?
Sounds good.
This
Yeah.
could have been
Check.
6 years ago or 90. We're gonna go with 6. We'll go with 6 for the sake of this because that's when the attack on Zephyr happened. They went to go save the world because they know this Rudis shit is going down, right? There's these attacks that seem to be potentially linked to Rudis and all that stuff, Red Storm, all that. We know that the Nightmare King knows the Callaways and may be involved, maybe loosely, or is at least aware of a plot against the Callaways or something like that.
Yep.
We don't really know. But let's look at this through the lens of the people after Birdie and Ollie are trying to stop them from saving the world, which could be linked to these assassins, the Rudis assassins, right?
Could be, yeah.
So Dusk, right, was their name, right?
Yeah.
What happens? What arises at dusk? What becomes visible as the sun goes down at dusk?
Yes. Yes,
The
I
moon.
see where you go.
Rudis. It's connected. There's my theory. Dusk
I like it.
is
I will never...
a member of the assassins, and well, no, it sounds dumb, but
I think Rudis can be seen throughout the day, potentially.
Yeah.
but
True.
I will never shoot down a moon theory, so I'm on board.
True.
No, that's I think that's the thing I'm most curious about so far in this campaign as a whole is just who are the assassins? Like, which group do they belong to? Like, I'm sure we'll get more details on that. I just kind of want that one definitive answer at some point. Just who is it? And then obviously why? Like, what for? What reason are they doing this? But yes, still going. I've been good. Don't bring it up. I've been good about the Chain of Oblivion. But yeah, no, I think I'd love to believe that there was time dilation for the reason the Callaways aren't there, but I want the angsty need inside me is that it has been 90 years and there is, forgetfulness and some neglect gone into how they communicated with their daughter. Because you got to think too, like the grandma could have just been like, well, shit, like they've been gone for a while. Yeah. But we also know the grandmother was saying, like, they're saving the world, they're doing something, and it could have just been something to tell a child to make them feel better. But we know they're building something. They seem to suggest that they were getting close. They needed some supplies, and they were getting close to whatever they were building. What could that be? What are they building?
I don't know.
Have we discussed this already? Am I treading on trod ground? What do you think?
Could it be like an opposite to what the Nightmare King was working on or something? I don't know.
Oh, remember too, because he was working with the Paragon's core. Like, he was working with Treshy and... it's all connected. We need a corkboard.
I wonder.
I should get a big corkboard back here, just with string.
Do we think Otohan might have been among the individuals that received the gift from Gurge? Maybe. Do you think Otohan would
just
come
make
all the
it
way out here for that?
I think there would have been some attempt for Chetney to make a perception or make some kind of check. I think their passive would be pinged to identifying other werewolves. Yeah. I mean, that would just make her even more cool. Like, she's such a cool design.
Yeah.
But no, I think, oh man, desert jetpack werewolf. That'd be so cool.
Transform into a werewolf while you're jetpacking.
No, but I definitely think, like, I'm still leaning with the assassins being the Ruidus-esque mix of battery that's occurring in the world.
And I do like the question or the theory that Cammy just put in chat, because both you and I have talked about wanting to go to the moon. So what if Birdie and Ollie are actually trying to build a rocket to the moon or something, a portal or something? We have transport. I don't know.
That that would be actually properly incredible if they're like, they manage to get away from Dusk, send them off, or, dispatch them, whatever reason. And then Birdie's like, all right, well, come see our adventure. It's just a fucking rocket ship.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
Yep.
That'd be concerning and incredible. But my first thought was that it was going to be some kind of portal, like to return to the Feywild. Maybe they were stuck, but I can't imagine, if I'm following my theory of it's been 90 years, that they couldn't find a way back to the Feywild in 90 years. Like, people do it all the fucking time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's more of a weapon, because there's insistence from the Unseelie Court to get rid of them. The Seelie Court are interested all the time in them. There's something, and there's that whole conversation Dusk had about how everyone's special, like how she's special, her parents are special. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I think it's probably going to be something. I don't know, but I feel like we might get some Feywild this campaign. We might actually travel, or we might see a split. We could see some characters go away for a time. Remember we had that theory in campaign 2 that Jester was going to be taken to the Feywild, like with the Traveler, and they'd have to go rescue her, or go in and find her. Could be Fern. Could be.
This is like exactly what I thought was going to happen. I thought this episode was going to end on even more of a cliffhanger, because again, like this scene.
Yeah.
I talked about this in a previous podcast episode where it's such brilliant storytelling, because we've always wanted Fern to reunite with her parents, because it would be it's awesome. Fern deserves it. But now that we had thrown Dusk into the mix, now we're worried about that reunion, because we know what's going to happen when Dusk encounters her parents. So there's that level of tension added on to what should be a beautiful scene between Fern and her parents. And this scene was just layered with so much strange tension between the 90 years versus 6 years, and then the slow reveal of Fern being like, oh, and I'm here with Dusk. Like, you remember traveling with Dusk, right? And then Birdie being like, I don't know who the hell this is. And then, obviously, then Dusk's double reveal as they were actually a changeling this whole goddamn time.
So cool.
My God.
Man, that art was good.
That was good.
That was really fun.
I need to go watch the scene again, because I was only watching Erica, because her description of the transformation was so cool that I was just like entranced by her descriptions of the transformation of her character. I was looking at Ashley, and Ashley was totally shocked, did not even see it coming.
Laura was good to watch too. Laura was very much just like, just living it. It was a really cool description. I love the way they described their changeling aesthetic. Like, really, really cool. And then just the art itself was quite, Reddit called it. I'm sure they probably did. That's like, it's like, I can't believe we didn't even think of the potential of there being like, I was thinking they might have been a Ladrin, I was thinking, oh, maybe they're appearing as like an autumn Ladrin, because they had those kind of colours, and now I feel like maybe that was a ploy, that was done on purpose to make us think that.
Sneak.
But yeah, no, it's, I thought... First, I was terrified because, Matt's saying Bertie's got their back to them, and you can see Erica was, like, in that mode. Erica was, like...
He was ready.
Yeah, and I was thinking that they were just going to go up and stab them in the back, which would have been heartbreaking. That would have been very intense. But I did like the very slow reveal, the nature of the reveal. But then we talked about, we thought they were going to grab both hands and teleport out of there.
I thought that's exactly how I thought the episode was going to end, because the way Erica was describing it, she was like, I placed both hands on them, and it's like she was looking to Matt for like the go ahead, and I thought she was gonna be like, and I fucking bamf them out, like I plane shift out of here. But I think she was still only like level 8 or something.
That would have been
so tricky. Don't think she has access to that shenanigans, but That's what I thought was going to happen.
Step, she could thunder step. I don't know, did warlocks get dimension door? Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's yeah. I was very much just like, oh no, this is going to be bad, and it could still be bad. We don't know. It
Yeah.
could still be the whatever happens next.
Could go pretty well, because while Warlock Paladin is a deadly combo, they're pretty squishy. 16 AC, 65 HP. They roll low on initiative. They're getting one shot in a round, so.
But that's the thing too. I think how they're not going to be alone. I think it would be impossible to do a evil PC reveal and then have PvP, but have it 1 versus 7. So I think there's definitely has to be backup. There's going to be some form of minion-esque fade.
Yeah, like a press this button to summon the reinforcements when you find them or something.
Bunch of hounds or something appear. No, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for PvP, because I feel like there would have to have been something that was very thoroughly discussed between Matt and Erica. This will probably devolve into PvP. How do we make that fun and interesting and fair? I guess because you got to think too. Birdie, I'm assuming, has something up her sleeve. Like if she's been around and she's this highly contested, it might just be because she's a brilliant inventor. But I like to think that she can fight and she can protect herself.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm excited, and we do have a break, don't we? It's not next week.
Yeah, we do. Next week is the break, so we gotta wait 2 weeks, whole weeks to come back to it.
Amazing.
It's tough, but what was also heartbreaking is Birdie saying to Fern that you brought them straight to us. And Fern's like, what do you mean? Who? Who did I bring?
Accusatory. That was. And the fact that she knew who it was, essentially, or knew what group Dusk supposedly is working for, just was not because I guess if someone suddenly changes their appearance and becomes aggressive towards you, you'd be like, that's the group that's chasing me. Yeah. But just suddenly realizing the danger that they're potentially in. Ooh, I'm excited to see how this plays out. I really want some PvP. Alternatively, I wouldn't hate if they manage to subdue Dusk and are able to. Oh god, that'd be kind of weird, interrogating a guest player at the table. God,
that would be interesting though. That'd be kind of cool. But I think we're definitely going to see a shift in Fern's character probably after this finishes and plays out.
It's like a massive lesson in distrust.
Yeah,
she was
exactly
so eager to place her trust in Dusk, but I think that's just because she's very free and nonchalant about a lot of the stuff that happens. But this might cause her to become more guarded, or or it could just cause her to become closer with people in the party, because I think for Fern, we've seen her, she's friendly with everyone in the party and she gets along, and obviously she's probably closest with Orem just because of that time they've spent together, but she doesn't really necessarily have, I think, those that super strong one-on-one connection with any other player, or with any other character yet, I should say. I guess apart from Orem, but they don't really engage with it all that much. I think Orem has a lot going on himself that's not really, she's not sharing. So I think it'd be interesting to see her kind of then, go to, I think probably Imogen, or maybe even Chetney, to find a bit more comfort and friendship, which would be nice, because anytime we get some just straight role play, it's lovely.
And it's interesting because it kind of took Molly's death to bring the party together, and to see some very significant shifts in character progression for campaign 2. It took that death to really get all that stuff started. But this one, we don't have a death yet, but we have a betrayal. Now, of course, they haven't been traveling with Dusk for very long, but as we said before, Fern put a lot of trust in Dusk. This was the first person that had come across that knew her parents.
Yeah.
And now seeing this betrayal, obviously it's going to affect Fern a lot, but the rest of the party, like, they are going to be very slow to bring other people into the fold, to trust other people. They're going to be very guarded now moving forward. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And I guess it all depends on how this gets resolved, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen at the start of the next episode. They could just be bamfed out, and then it's a chase. I don't know.
Yeah, no, because it's we see that, like, so I was bringing up how the Mighty Nine had major trust issues as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's valid, that's fair. They got mucked around a lot. But with this group, I think it was like the mild aspect of meta, well, it's a guest player, so let's, go talk to them and introduce ourselves and welcome them into the party quite easily. But they brought up how, like, well, we asked questions, we were probing Dusk, but they didn't give us anything, or they just lied so well and they didn't question it. I think probably maybe the not question it, because even Matt said, like, some things were starting to slip, some things were starting to crack, and there was, inconsistencies in what they were saying. But it was, to different people at different times. So it's kind of like meta on two folds. It was meta of, okay, well, maybe it's just the guest player. We don't want to interrogate them too hard. And it might have been the anti kind of meta, where it's like, well, my character wasn't involved in that conversation, so they can't comment on how that's a little bit different to what I heard. Which is, both good forms of meta gaming. So yeah, it's interesting to think. I think. Well, obviously Travis was suspicious this episode. I think Orem has always
how on point he was.
100%, and I think that shook Erica a bit.
Oh yeah.
I was watching that scene just going like, I couldn't play that type of character because, one, I can't lie very well in character because I go bright red.
Yeah.
So if I was in that situation, I would have gone bright red and everyone would have, like, instantly known something was up. But I think that really threw them, and they were very much like, oh, no, what are you talking about? The response was just like that super kind of high pitch of like, what? No.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
No.
But I wonder.
I'll get out here.
I wonder what she whispered to Travis though, because Travis beat her deception.
Yeah.
I wonder what she had said. But then we also have to consider that Orem has the observant feat, so he was reading their lips in that conversation. So maybe Orem also was starting to, be a bit more sus of her. But yeah, they're not really doing anything. But he might, kick himself now that it is revealed that she is a betrayer stuff.
And then they got that sparring section in where they were able to kind of, hone in on what their abilities were. But we don't know. Like, they could have been holding back. They could have, I mean, if they're a warlock paladin, obviously they've probably got some smites. They've got some, I know they weren't really going too hard on the magic, but, like, they've got some backing to their abilities. It'll be interesting to see then what comes out in the actual PvP.
But now I'm wondering, like, why did Chetney confront Dusk in that way? As in, like, hey, like, I'll help you, or like, I get it, I get it. You got a job to do.
I think that's Chetney's idea of being smooth and, like, interrogative. It was very much just like, I have a suspicion, or I'm just on the off chance going to suggest this crazy theory to this other person just to see their reaction. And so I think it was very much just like, because Chetney is wild. Chetney would say dumb stuff like that. I love Fern's reaction of like, he probably would, but I don't think he will. Like, acknowledging that, he's a loose cannon. But I think it was very much just like, I'm just gonna run this by them and see what their reaction is, because it all pretty much led to the do I believe them insight check that they made. And so I'm saying I kind of want to know what. It might have been answered online. Erica might share it, but just like, what did Erica say to Travis to kind of like? Because what would you say? Because that was a 19 versus an 11. You would have to reveal that there was deception.
I can imagine lines of this. Someone like, he definitely seems like shaken by it or something.
Yeah. Because we know all that nervousness and like excitability of Dusk was all the act. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the fact that they shift instantly to this cool, calm, collected character. So I feel like if that was the act, they're kind of like, what? No, you're crazy. That would be easy to perceive as a lie with that high of an insight check. So I'm wondering if there was some aspect of that. Four-sided dive with Erica, yeah, that'd be great.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
no,
I hope we get that.
I'm keen. I'm keen for that that reveal. I'm keen for PvP. I'm very excited. I like Alex Sawyer in chat just said prediction. Chetney Orm. Oh no, it wasn't that. It was earlier. Someone suggested that they get a bonus. Oh, sorry, it was Logan. Logan said that Orm and Chetney get bonuses against Dusk since they suspected. I think that'd be kind of cool. It was just like, you know, a little bit of inspiration because of your
Yeah. But the
unhealthy
party's
distrust.
the party's not all together right now, right?
Oh no, they're outside. It's
Okay,
Ashton and
they're
FCG inside.
Inside.
Fern is there, and I think the rest are kind of they're moseying on in. I don't think anyone's run off and done anything themselves. Thankfully,
Gotcha.
God, could you imagine?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, again, I'm definitely excited for all the things that you had just stated, but we have to wonder what kind of minions are going to be at the beck and call of Dusk, because the odds are not in Dusk's favor. No matter, if she was like level like 14 plus, maybe she would have a chance against all of them, but level 8, I don't know. Just by herself, I don't know. Unless she is gonna like bamf them away with some kind of teleportation and they have to chase her down, but it would be interesting then if more assassins did show up. Help take them
Are we
down.
at Revivify level? Yeah, we're at Revivify level, right?
Yeah,
they're level 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. We're sweet.
Fine. We're fine.
It's good.
But then we also have to wonder, like, how powerful is Birdie? Like, is Birdie just like a scientist or like an inventor, or are they like a powerful spellcaster or something?
I'm excited to see that. And then Fern's father, where the heck is he?
Yeah, where's Ollie? Where's Ollie during all this?
I think Joe had mentioned like they generally come in one at a time. Like it's not often together that they travel. So yeah, I'm excited. To. I hope it's a good reunion. I hope it's not like coming in with an unconscious Birdie being like, help! Like,
oh God.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awful. Oh God, could you imagine if this reunion is like, I don't want to say it, but
say it.
What if Birdie does die? Like, what if Dusk is somewhat successful?
Remember what I said last week? We're due. The angst timer is past due.
But it would be so dreadful.
It would. It would.
Oh,
but it's so good.
But she's also so sweet. I get major Caduceus, like Clay family vibes from her.
Oh yeah.
But also maybe a bit more peppery, a little bit more spicy. Oh no, I kind of want to see. I want to see more of what the fuck the Unseelie Court is up to. What the Nightmare King's deal is. What this dude, whose name I totally remember's deal is. Just why Dusk is there. What is this war that is being raged in the Feywild? And I feel like we get more progress towards that if there is a reason for the party to go to the Feywild and fuck up the Unseelie Court.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible we're going to get some answers soon. Well, 2 weeks soon, I guess. Once they somehow deal with this whole Dusk thing, I think Fern deserves some answers. Like, where the hell have you guys been? What have you been working on? Why are these people after you? Like, there's so many things to ask.
100%.
So we might finally start getting the pieces to this puzzle that have been missing for so long. And if they are somehow connected to the assassins, because of the whole 6 years thing, the attack on Zephyra, maybe there's a connection to all that stuff, and they are trying to stop like a greater evil force from doing stuff. And maybe the Unseelie Court is involved in this Ruda shenanigans. We know Otohan is somehow involved. Like, there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much. And I
Now,
think we're
remind me if I'm
finally
wrong.
there to get answers.
Otohan didn't react to seeing Imogen, did they?
Nope.
They had no reaction.
Reaction.
This is now I can't. Oh goodness, excuse me for whoever was in chat. I think it was someone in chat last week. It might have been in the Discord. It might have been somewhere completely different. But they suggested that, like, what if Otohan isn't Ruidus born? They're not like involved in any way, but it was just a part of the vision that Imogen has of, like, Ruidus kind of conjured this image of someone nearby, similar to how it conjured that image of Bertrand when he was killed.
Yeah.
But that is, I guess, because Bertrand was engulfed by the Red Storm, and that's what kind of signaled that, he's not doing great. But I guess Otohan in this vision was a part of the Red Storm.
Yeah.
But it could still just be like a signal. It could be something of like, well, maybe they're not necessarily connected, but there's something is happening. Something is boding not good for Otohan in the future. I just like that as like a side theory. But maybe they're just too cool and they're just like, oh dang, that's that girl from our dreams. Like, play it cool as they're walking past. I have to read this comment because I saw the word Tharizdun. Joseph says, going to say that Otohan serves Tharizdun while Dusk is serving the Unseelie Court, and whoever gets the party's attention is the big bad. Yeah, and the other one just gets ignored.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that it seems like if they are all connected, all of these different realms and powers that are trying to accomplish something, like what could be their end goal if they are all connected? The Unseelie Court attacking Birdie and Ollie, them trying to save the world with the attacks on Zephyra, all these Ruidus-born stuff, Imogen, like, what's the end goal here? We got Delilah still going on in the background, who may or may not be related to all this stuff. The convergence is coming up
at some point to happen. We don't know. Someone do the math. Is this going to be like a what's it called? Like what's the name of that convergence where it's really good
or something? Or the apogee solstice.
Apogee solstice. Yes. Oh wait, that's the solstice. Because the convergence is like the planes kind of aligning a bit, but maybe that is also part of a solstice every 7 years. Someone go and do the numbers. Let's see.
Someone crunch the numbers quick.
Let's figure this out.
Yeah. No, but that would be interesting. But I think the timing is a little off. I think we talked about it before. I think the next apogee solstice isn't for like a number of years. So we might be a bit off. But man, it all comes back to Tharizdun though. You already know.
100%.
Comes back.
Yeah, it's the Red Boon, the egg that houses Tharizdun.
He's gonna hatch.
And it's actually just an illusion because it's actually in the Feywild.
Oh shit! Yep, you heard it here first. And that is where Vandrin is having the barbecue.
100%. Yeah, it has to be. We will get to Vandrin eventually. It has to be.
Vandrin will make an appearance at some point in our theories. Besides all that, is there anything else we want to bring up for this episode?
God.
We did briefly go over. Good. I guess what are your general thoughts on the race?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked FCG being the front wheel. I thought that was a very cool mechanic. I feel like it definitely took him out a bit on having fun in the race, maybe because they were very well stuck in this one place. And also, potentially almost completely destroyed. But I thought that was fun. I liked I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool them banging around, hitting each other, all the traps being laid, and Fern just sitting there eating candy apples.
Fern just on the sidelines. Yep, having a good old time. The hijacking.
Was cool. Yeah,
that was badass.
No, it was just a lot of fun. It was like, and generally like race sort of stuff isn't what I'm into for D&D. I feel like just because I've always seen it done maybe a little bit poorly, because it's just like, you move forward, then you move forward, you move forward. But yeah, it was fun. There was a lot of like kind of wild stuff that happened. Yeah.
And again, it felt, I was talking about this a bit before, but it definitely felt more like a combat than a race. The race was just kind of like a secondary thing. It was mostly just slinging spells and wreaking havoc and all that stuff. So, but it was fun. It was fun.
And they smashed it too. Like
they did.
That's really impressive.
First, second, and third. Well, first and second, and then Imogen and Ashton crashed at the end. But
yeah,
that's pretty good for their first time. It went probably as good as it possibly could have. The best timeline for them. Phelan says, I did the maths a while back. The closest apogee solstice would be between the Briarwood Arc and roughly 20 years from the current date, due to the unknown length of the calamity. So we're a ways away from.
So tomorrow.
so yes, the next day.
Yeah.
Is actually
tomorrow's the apogee solstice.
Where it all comes crashing back down.
I suppose technically, yeah, the solstice happens every year. Let's be real, that's what a solstice is. But that's what they say too, isn't it? Because it's like Ruidus is reaching its apex, and that happens on the solstice, maybe? Am I making that up?
Could be.
Sure.
Probably. That sounds right.
Law.
That sounds accurate.
We are coming towards a solstice.
Yes.
And all the fun stuff happens. Yeah, we're good.
We gotta wait, and we gotta wait 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 whole weeks.
Kidding me.
The cliffhangers have really been fucking on point this campaign so far, with the addition of this week break. It's like every single break that we have, there's some kind of like a big cliffhanger to keep us invested. Those damn writers, those damn Critical Role writers are getting better and better, I swear.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
They're getting so good. But unless there's anything else we want to talk about, I suppose we can go ahead and call it there. But yes, also the names of their crawlers, the Red Moon and then the Buck Fucket.
That's so good. Dumb.
No, it was great. But yeah, I suppose with all that being said, we can go ahead and call the episode there. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks for hanging out in chat, sharing your thoughts and feelings with us. Thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this on the YouTube upload or watching it on Spotify or Anchor or Apple or wherever else this podcast may find itself. Thank you all so much for supporting. If you wish to support us further, be sure to follow us on Twitter at WhatTheSheepPod on Twitter, where we give updates on when we're going live. But Alana has also been working on something very, very special.
Oh, snap.
Very, very special.
Snap. I say as I'm getting links ready. Good. Here's our Twitter. Check it out.
Yep. Here's the Twitter.
I have been, and it's not what I do normally, but I have made a website for the What the Sheep podcast.
Let's go.
I say I made it. I used a podcast builder, a website builder. I know what I'm talking about.
You made it.
You can go to. I'll grab the link now. I'm closing everything. I should have been more prepared, but I woke up.
That is okay.
40 minutes ago.
Yeah, the link.
The website is whatthesheeppod.com, and there's probably no new exciting information there. I'm doing a terrible job of selling this website, but it's a one-shop stop for everything about us. It's got all our podcast episodes. It has all our links to our socials, so they're all now in one spot. There's a little bit for all our individual socials. So for Nico and myself, there's a place to leave reviews and to contact us if for whatever reason you need to. Currently, probably, DM on Twitter and Discord is still okay. We'll still check all those, but it's just like a nice, I think, a nice little, somewhat professional front. Front.
We're moving up.
Forward.
We're moving up in the podcast world.
Yeah.
We got our own website. It's great.
I'm learning Google Analytics to see how it looks. It's good. I like it. If you see a mistake, please let me know. But
yes, but give it plenty of foot traffic. I'll spam it a couple more times in the chat. It'll also be linked in the description down below as well for the YouTube upload and stuff. But yes, click the link. Click on all the tabs, boost up our analytics and stuff. We super appreciate it. So yes, if you're looking to support us further, be sure to check out the website. Again, that's going to be whatthesheeppod.com, the one-stop shop for all things that involves this podcast.
you see people being like, oh man, I wish there were more discussion podcasts about Critical Role, or why is Four-Sided Dive only on every 4 weeks? You'd be like, hey, on a nice little platter for you. Here's this lovely website for you to check out of absolute professionalism.
Yep. Absolute professionalism. We have never slept in. We've never missed a
like 3 times now, maybe. This is number 3.
It's totally okay. Yep, no, it's totally okay. I would probably do the same thing, honestly.
Oh my word.
But yeah, and also leave a review. Leave a a 5-star review. Or a 1-star if you really hate us.
If you do that on like Apple Podcasts or something, like you can do it on the website. But those ones they count a little bit.
Okay, never mind. Scratch that. But yes, thank you all so much for your support. We really appreciate it. But as always, don't forget to love each other. Spread the love to everyone you meet, to everyone you see. The world needs more love in it, so make sure you're spreading it around. But most importantly, don't forget to love yourself. That is the most important thing you can do. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Drink some water, eat some food, get plenty of rest. I'm proud of you. Thank you for being here. So, with all of that being said, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, wherever you may be on this glorious earth. And we'll see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.